Video tutorial. Today I'm looking at Mindview and we're going to look at creating an essay. First thing we need to do is actually have a title of an essay. So to create a symbol in the middle, if you've never used Mindview before, you go to File, New, choose the direction you want your map, from left to right, top down vertical or top down, or even outline view if you require. You can even create timelines, great for scheduling lectures. Let's go to my map. I'm going to leave it on the default one. Also, later on, if you start getting into Mindview, which is great, you can start using the built-in templates. Great for giving you ideas and get you up and running. So I'm going to start with my map, double tap that, and we're ready to go. So I need to type in a title of an essay. So I'm going to put in and there's my title with an essay. So first thing you have to do is create your first paragraph. Now to do that, once the main symbol is highlighted with your title, you can double tap in the corner where it's coloured, or you can press the enter key. So I'm just going to double tap. Now you need to put in the title of your first paragraph. So let's keep this simple. It's going to be in an introduction. Actually, I'm going to create a second paragraph, so I'm going to double click here again. So highlight the first symbol, main symbol, and double tap. And I'll just call that para 2 for now. Now, let's start planning your essay. Now, with introduction, I could add a text note. I can do that by right clicking on the trackpad and selecting Insert and Text Note. Or, right hand corner, up on the ribbon, I could select text notes from there, or if you prefer, right at the top, select in drop down menu and choose text note from insert. So I'm actually going to do a right click. It's much faster and quicker when you get used to doing that, and I'm going to tap text note. Now this pops down the bottom here, so now I'm ready to start putting in my first paragraph. Now it would be great if I could actually structure each paragraph by breaking it down into sections and giving it separate titles so I know which content I need to put in. If I click this little button here, settings, you can change your fonts here. You can also change your spelling, check that, bold, italic and your normal formatting options. And you can, if you want to, even add another page by clicking the plus button. But I'm not going to start typing in there. I'm going to create another sub-paragraph off introduction by double tapping the corner. And then I can start giving these titles. So I could put early years, for example. Click back on introduction, double tap that. This will be the middle part of my first paragraph. I could call this achievements through the years. Now if I click off that, you see I've done a spelling error there. If I do a right click, it'll give me an alternative suggestion. Click on that, the spelling's done. So I have introduction, there's my first part of introduction, and there's my middle part. So now I can decide what the end part of my first paragraph is going to be. So click back on introduction, double tap, and I'm going to call this ideas. So there I kind of structured my first paragraph there into 3 sections. You can structure it into 2, or you might just want to do 1, it's up to you. It's a great way to make sure you get the content to each part of your paragraph structured. So I'm going to click back on Sigmund, early years. Now remember what I need to do, I need to add a text note. So what you do is you right click, insert and tap text note. Now because I've got that symbol highlighted, Sigmund early years, I can now start typing in. So I'm just going to put first part in for now. Now to close that little text window, click the X top right hand corner, and then if I hover over the symbol, paperclip pops up, tap, and there it is, you can carry on working on it. Now let's say I go to the middle part of my first paragraph, and remember what we need to add. I'm going to create a text note from here, top right hand corner this time, text note, click back into there. Say you need a quote to support your argument. Now we can use the built-in bibliography system within Mindview to do that for you. You can cite your work and export it to a Word document. So first thing I need is a quote. Now I've got one in a Word document here, and there it is. So I'm going to Command C that, minimise it, and I'm going to paste that in to the middle part of my first paragraph. And there we go. Now I need to actually cite my work there. Now if I go back to the Word document, you can see here I've got the ISBN number of the book as well, which I'm going to copy. Now when you put the ISBN number of a book in, you don't need to put the gaps or hyphens in, only the numeral numbers. So Command C to copy, minimise that. So let's now cite my work. Go right to the top of the ribbon, you've got the insert option. Select that, and in the drop down menu go to New Bibliography Source, because we need to find a source first. Excellent. I'm on book, I'm going to click, so that's where the source originally came from. And now I can paste that ISBN number in. You can actually put the title of a book in, or journal, or film, or internet site. But if you put the ISBN number, it gives you a set book. Otherwise, if you just put the title in, you've got different editions and you have to break it down and find exactly what you need. So I'm going to click the enter button to now search. So it uses the Powered by the World catalogue. And there we go. And there it is. I click add. I've now added it. So now what I can do is now cite my work with it. So if I come back into the text, do a right click and select citations. There it is there. Hold the left button and drag it into your current citations. Pop the page number in and click close, and you can see underneath it's now created the in-text citation. Now don't worry too much about the formatting, because we can change them when we export it to Word, because you could be using APA or you could be using Harvard, a number of different styles. Once that's done, we can close that little window. And again, I can always come back to that by going on the paperclip, tapping on the link, and bring it back open again and carry on working on it. So I have my first part of my first paragraph, my middle part, and my end part. And then you can start typing your end part of your paragraph. So I'm going to call this arguments. Doesn't really matter what you put in there in the sense of the title, it's just to give you a reference of what you need to put in each section of that paragraph. You can delete that when we go to Word. Again, we can do a right click, create a text note, right insert, or you go right hand corner, text note, or top of the ribbon, insert, and you can add it there as well with text note. So I'm just going to put part 3. Just give the methodology of using it. And there we go. So we have your title, first paragraph, which in this case I've decided to break down into 3 sections, so I can put required content to each section of that paragraph. It's easy to contradict yourself. By doing this, you're ensuring you are getting the right content down. Paragraph 2, again it's up to you, you can break that down to how many sections you want. Just before I export this to a Word document though, why not use the built-in colour coding options for visual mapping? For example, if I highlight Sigmund the early years and click colour schemes here, I could make that green to signify I've finished that first part of my introduction. Click the middle part of the introduction. Again, I could have finished up there, again I might not have. I could make that red, so when I come back to it I know exactly where I need to go to and work on. It's up to how you want to use that system. You might want to actually highlight the whole section and give it a certain colour, just so it stands out, so it belongs to certain topics. Entirely up to you how you work that. Bear in mind though, if you're very visual working with mind maps, and that's the whole point of them, you can also add clip art. It does have built-in clip art. If I go top right hand corner and in the drop down here we have media. If I click media, and there's your clip art. It's kind of limited though. I prefer to use Google Images and import them, but I'll show you both anyway to give you options. So let's have a little look at, say, technology, transport. Not really relevant, is it? Let's go to physical sciences. Let's go to physics. Let's say I wanted to use a bit of clip art here. I could hold the left button and then drag it where I want it. As you can see, if I hover over, if I drag it to the right, it will attach as an add-in. In other words, as a paperclip. If I put it in the middle, it then locks in as clip art on the actual symbol to give that visual mapping. Now let's look for Sigmund Freud, and if I have a quick look in Google Images, or you can go top right hand corner here and click the link, depending on what search engine you're using. Let's see what we get, and there we go. So I'm going to select that, and I'm going to save that image to as. I would like to save it as, so I know exactly where it is and what I'm doing with it. So I'll call that just Sigmund. Documents, fine, click save. I can now minimise that. Now, see I've highlighted Sigmund Freud symbol. I can now import it. Now again, we can go up the top here, so click on Mindview to bring up the top menu. I could go Insert and do a floating picture. I could go to Attach, and I could attach it as a picture. But what I prefer to do, if I click on Sigmund Freud, do a right click, why not insert it as a branch picture? Find out where it is, and I did it in my documents if I recall, and there he is, and there you go. Great for visual mapping. So as you can see, we've planned your essay, we've broke it down, and we've even added visual mapping on there and colour coding if needed. Let's send that to a Word document and have a look. So go to File, Export or Command E. Now, very important here, don't rush through this, you need to choose a template. Now I'm going to use APA in this instance, because that's the American Psychology style. If you're using Harvard, Word 2011 doesn't have built-in Harvard, so you're going to have to download it. I have done another video on that on my channel, my YouTube channel, so have a look and that will show you how to put that style. Right, so I'm going to use APA. Now if I do anything else, I want to make sure I'm exporting it to Word, which I've selected at the top. Click the Options tab, because we need to choose how you want to export it. Now I want to export the text notes. I could untick if I don't want to export the branch picture with that Sigmund Freud picture I added. So you can untick what you don't want here, and you can also include attachments if you've added them. Now I'm not going to export the map, and that will export the map on top of your Word document that I've created, and table of contents, I'm not going to use that as well. I'm just going to leave the bibliography. As you remember, I'll create the citation. Click Export. Choose where you're going to save it to. I should pop it on my desktop. Click Save, and open and follow prompts. Click Yes, and Yes again, and there we go. So there's the title of my essay, my introduction, which, if you recall, I broke down into different segments. There's my first part, second part, third part. So what you could do is then delete the parts and then all the information you've added you could join together as one. Just an idea you could use. Also, you see my citation there, and at the bottom there, just want to check that is the APA reference style. So on Word, go to Document Elements. I'm currently on Harvard, so I've clicked the bibliography. I'm going to click off Harvard and choose APA. And that may be a good way of planning and organising your essays. I'll close that. It's just a simple way of planning essays. There's so much you can do with this. Just remember though, on the left here, by dragging these branch spacing, you can split your map apart so you can see it more clearly. You also you can change the text colours, branch fill, and so on. Just remember, all these options on the left here are also available in this little bar at the top, so you can access them quickly. I would recommend using a numbering scheme as well, because then you know which is your first paragraph. Introduction, 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, and so on. Just a simple map. Thanks for watching.